This week on the Jock and Nerd podcast, we review season 3 of The Mandalorian. Plus, Jonathan Majors' situation gets worse as he shares evidence to clear his name, casting rumors for the leads for the Fantastic Four movie. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 will feature a crazy first for the MCU. The Godzilla vs. Kong sequel gets a name and a release date. We got a quick review of Ghosted on Apple TV Plus and a whole bunch more, all in this edition of the Jock and Nerd Weekly for Monday, April 24th, 2023.
Hey, what's up? It's Taylor Gray, the voice of Ezra Bridger on Star Wars Rebels, and you're listening to the Jock and Nerd podcast.
Check. Check one. All right. This is for all you fans out there. Let's give it up. We talking, we nerding. We funny, disturbing. We talking, we nerding. We spoiler alert. Oh yeah!
Hey, listener. What's happening? Welcome to the Jock and Nerd podcast, where we give you comic book and superhero TV and movie news, reviews, and whatever we choose. Jock and Nerd. My name is Imran.
My name's Anthony.
He's the Jock.
He's the nerd.
And joining us is the Mandalorian's other adopted son. Goes by the name Din Bambino, but we just call him Rug Boy. What's up, Rugs?
What's up? In order to keep with the creed, I brought my veiny purple helmet to wear for this entire podcast.
Oh,
This is the way. Oh, veiny purple
it's hard
helmet.
to see out of this fucking visor, though. Jesus Christ, how do these Mandalorians do anything?
It smells weird and
God
it's all
damn it.
sticky. Tell me you pooped in Mando's helmet at least once, as being his adoptive son.
I've done a lot of things in that helmet.
Yeah, I can tell. I can tell. It's been.
That's why you can't see his face. If he took it off, it'd be all like, it'd be all mangled from all the fucking disease he's got.
Oh, that's quite an image. Love it. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Good stuff.
Look
Din.
like Freddy Krueger under there.
Shouldn't it be Bambino Jarin instead of Din Bambino? I don't know how their names work. It's very confusing. We'll talk about it later. But in the meantime, before we get to The Mandalorian Season 3, listener, a couple of things of news to catch up on. Here we go.
The Jock and Nerd podcast.
So, you guys may have remembered a few weeks ago, we talked about Jonathan Majors' incident, his problems, him being arrested after allegedly physically assaulting what is possibly his girlfriend in New York City. And then his side comes out real quick. It says, oh, we have all this evidence. We believe he's done nothing wrong. And then we don't hear nothing. It was very quiet until exactly a week ago, the day we recorded the last episode when it was done. All last week, every day, new stories dropping. So it's been a crazy week for Jonathan Majors. Have you guys been following along?
It's been coming fast and furious, but yeah, I have.
All right. Well, here's the first thing. On Monday, exactly a week ago from when we're recording, Majors gets dropped by his talent management, Entertainment 360, and his PR team. Both drop him.
Oh, shit.
Okay, that's not good.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next thing. Literally the next day, report comes out that Deadline saying Jonathan Majors no longer attached to certain projects he was working on. There was an adaptation of a novel called The Man in My Basement. They pulled him from a high-profile ad campaign for the Texas Rangers baseball organization and an Otis Redding biopic. He was going to play Otis Redding.
So he's in a movie about me.
Wait, which one?
He's the man in the basement.
In my basement, yes.
Yeah.
That's Rug Boy's autobiography.
Listen, I'm okay with him playing me. But wow, that's dropped from 3 movies.
He's still reportedly set to star in a Spike Lee movie called The Understudy for Amazon. And
Right.
he's still playing Dennis Rodman in Lionsgate's 48 Hours in Vegas.
Okay.
And they mention at this point, still playing Kang, and that there is no discussions happening at Disney of replacing him. But at this point, I'm like, Disney's got a list. They've made a list just as soon as this happened.
Right.
Just in case. Okay, then the next day gets crazier. It gets worse, actually. Variety claiming multiple alleged abuse victims have come forward. more women coming forward, cooperating with the Manhattan DA's office.
The blood's in the water.
That's not good. And the same day, this is the big crazy one. Jonathan Majors goes to TMZ with his side of the story and some stuff in his defense. Did you guys see this TMZ article?
No.
Oh my God. This
Tell
is
me
kind of
more,
crazy.
Imran.
This is kind of crazy. So his attorney, Priya Chowdhury, she filed docs Wednesday in Manhattan, informing the court. It says the driver that was driving them witnessed what went down between Jonathan and the woman back in March. And according to those docs, the driver saw the woman assault Majors, quote, while she was attempting to steal his phone. So this is what I could piece together. The story was they were in an Uber with a driver, and something was happening. She was trying to steal his phone, and to get away, he got out of the car. And the driver saying that he saw her hitting, scratching, and attacking Jonathan Majors. Okay, so he got out of the car, got in a different car. She goes on. Then Chowdhury has photos because the woman allegedly told police she suffered a broken finger and a laceration behind her ear during this altercation. But then there's photos of this said person out in the clubbing afterwards, where you can see her hand. You can see her putting her hair. There's videos, security footage from the clubs, pulling her hair back. You don't really see any injuries. It is pixely security camera stuff, but she's out clubbing after this thing. Then she, when she was done,
I feel like this is CSI Jock and Nerd edition.
yeah,
What's
it's
going
crazy,
on here?
dude. It's crazy. So then, when she was done, they claimed that she showed up.
Imran's like putting all this evidence on the table as if we're going to judge it.
TMC broke this all down, and it's kind of crazy, but it kind of paints maybe what really happened that night. After her night was done, they claim she showed up at Jonathan Majors' home at 3 a.m, entered his apartment, called him 32 times, sent several angry, jealous text messages, and then voicemails like threatening suicide. Then when he gets home the next morning, he finds her unconscious, half naked on the floor of his walk-in closet. He also discovered she allegedly threw up in his bed and told him she'd taken a few sleeping tablets. That's when Jonathan Majors calls the police. And when the paramedics arrive, she's telling them she don't know what happened to her. At this point now, the next morning, she has this cut and this laceration. Also in this document, his lawyer, Chowdhury, claims body cam footage shows police interviewing the woman and, quote, clearly coaching her to say that Mr. Majors grabbed her by the throat, unquote, which is interesting. So that makes sense why he called the police. This article also revealed that he is about to make $20 million paycheck for Kang Dynasty, Avengers Kang Dynasty, and Secret Wars. So...
Wow.
That's a hell of a punchback by Jonathan Majors.
Right?
Oh, man. No pun intended.
Poor chosen words, but I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Strong case. He's trying to put together a strong case. So, again, we don't know what the truth is, and this is all up in the air, but Disney and Marvel, what would you do for them? Do you wait? Do you still wait? Do you look for a replacement and switch them out? If you're Majors and you know you're innocent, do you step down yourself? Because he has stepped down from certain film institute things that he was a part of. There's like a Sidney Poitier film group. He stepped down. So to avoid any, further embarrassment or making other people look bad, he is himself personally stepping down for things. However, does that show guilt? Like if you're Majors, do you be like, I'm going to step down from Kang for now? But then it doesn't look so bad when he comes up innocent and they want him back in. I don't know. This is a tough situation.
Like this is time has to pass. That's the only thing I could do. Like when all of the facts are laid out, and so when this thing resolves itself, I think he could safely come back and not have to worry about it. But right now, it's kind of like he's got to like lay low and let this blow over and like let all the things come out. Or, unless he's guilty and all these people coming forward have receipts and then it becomes a more complicated situation, then obviously Marvel's probably going to cut him loose and do some like fucking deep fake with another actor or something.
Oh, they'll just recast him. Anthony, is he done? Is it too late? Is there still a chance? Because really, he could be innocent on this one incident, but if there's other people stepping forward, he could be guilty of those incidents. It's weird.
I don't think he's done. It's clear he's fighting back. He seems to have evidence that can strongly suit his case. I think Marvel's going to wait it out. Clearly, the movie's gonna pay him $20 million. So
yeah,
he wants this, and moreover, his career is kind of on the line, at least right now. So he's going to fight, especially if he's innocent. He's going to fight. As far as him stepping down, and does that show that he's not innocent? I don't think so. I think he's just going, hey, there's a lot of heat around me. I'm trying to take away attention from me in these things that I'm involved in because of all this stuff around me. That doesn't necessarily say that you're guilty.
No, it's a quality move. He doesn't want to be a distraction at this time.
It's tough to say if it's a quality move or not. I mean,
that's true.
If he's guilty, then he's a scumbag, and whatever. But whatever. It's tough to say. I mean, we don't really know everything. I find it always curious when other people jump out of the woodwork. It's almost like there's two sides of this. One, maybe they felt like they couldn't say anything. They felt suppressed. Or two, they see blood in the water, and now the cancel mob is jumping all over them. I think if you're Marvel, you got to wait it out. I don't think you got to come to any rash decision right now, especially if he ends up being innocent.
Yeah.
And you let this guy go because of things that weren't necessarily his fault. The only thing you can say if he's innocent that was his fault is why is he associating with such a psychopath if he is?
Yes.
But he's got poor taste in women if he is innocent. And then if he's guilty, then he's an asshole and he's going to pay for it in more ways than one. But
well, the situation looks pretty bad. Like either way, it's like he could be innocent and whatever. But some people, you know how it is on Twitter, they're like, no matter what you prove, if you're innocent or not, you're still like labeled whatever. So I don't know. Yeah. With James Gunn, it seemed to have gone away. Right. There wasn't really a lot there. There wasn't like a court case or anything pending.
But they fired him real quick after that guy brought up those 10-year-old tweets. But then he gets
pedophilia, it's like.
Yes.
Well, I mean, you see this all the time. I know you guys aren't big sports fans. We actually see this all the time in sports. Oh. There's guys that do bad shit and then they come back. And I mean, Kobe Bryant was in a rape case, a high-profile rape case.
That's right.
He's considered one of the greatest basketball players. No one thinks about that. Ray Lewis, who's a football player, was involved in a murder case. He's a Hall of Fame football player. He had a long career after that.
And Snoop Doggy Dogg.
Snoop Dogg, sure. Snoop Dogg. I mean, Chris Brown punched a woman, punched Rihanna.
Yeah.
He's still making music. So, not to say that it's okay, but you can bounce back from stuff even if it's bad. You can bounce back sometimes. But if he's innocent, I think they just got to wait it out, see what happens.
I guess
they've clearly invested a lot in this guy, and I don't think they want to throw it away without at least seeing what's going to happen.
But Marvel's got a lot of problems because Stephen Yeun is now under fire for David Cho. David Cho made some comments. Yeah, he made some comments on a podcast about rape or something, and like. They don't know if he was making it up or if he was being truthful or not or whatever, if he was being honest on the podcast, but they're working with him. So now they're associating.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Stephen Yeun with David Cho. And that's probably not good for Marvel either. There's a lot of shit coming out, like a lot of like weird press stories that are unfolding. That's not good for Marvel. Marvel's having a tough beginning of this year.
This is a tricky spot, right? Because King, they're building up as the big bad for this whole phase. Loki season 3 apparently coming out later this year, mid-2023. He's already shot things for that, so they're not going to reshoot that. They got to use that no matter what happens. But who? I mean, there was rumors that like Idris Elba. They were talking to, or that dude Damson Idris. Anybody named Idris, we'll get the role to be recast. Who else do you think's on that list? If you would, I mean, you could. There's a number of guys, but it would be weird. if you had to replace him?
I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of people that are good actors, but I don't know if they necessarily want to be Kang.
Right.
So, like the guy from Tenet, he's a good actor, but
Yeah.
I don't know if he
John
wants
David
to be Kang.
John David
Yeah.
Washington.
I don't think he wants to be Kang.
Boyega.
Lakeith Stanfield. John
Lakeith
Boyega.
Stanfield would be great. Well, Boyega is actually coming back. That another story, Star Wars related. He is going to be in that Rey Skywalker new movie that's set 15 years after Rise of Skywalker. He is also coming back for that.
I'm looking at some of this stuff. I mean, everyone handles trauma differently, but
Yeah.
you're going to be out, going out to a club if you got beat up after.
Exactly. If you were I mean, and that's the thing, though. In the court of public opinion, right, you are proven guilty until you're innocent. It's opposite than in an actual court of law. But yeah, his reputation is on the line. This is we'll see what happens. That's crazy. TMZ, him going to TMZ is crazy. Listener,
Well, he's doing that because he's got to fight this like now.
Yeah.
Especially, he's almost fighting two cases. He's fighting in court, but he's fighting in court of public opinion.
Yep, and there was, I mean, they were probably frustrated waiting so long, because right away they were like, we have evidence, and then you'd hear nothing for like 2 or 3 weeks. Like, what is happening? They're charging him. They're moving forward. So, yes, to be continued. Listener, let us know what you think of all this drama. Join our Facebook group. It's where the conversation starts, continues. It's a closed, exclusive group just for you. There is a link in the episode description. It's called Jock and Nerd Nation. Jock and Nerd. Fun place to geek out. Lots of spoiler threads and stuff. Okay, sticking with the Marvel theme, here's a rumor. Now rumored to be in final talks to play Reed Richards in Fantastic Four is one Adam Driver. You either think Adam Driver is a fantastic actor or he's just boring as fuck with a punchable face. I've heard both things.
I think he's both.
Can you be both at the same time? Possibly.
He is. He's both. Yes.
Possibly. I mean, Kylo Ren was essentially, kind of a Doctor Doom type. He'd be great for Doom, I think, Ruggs, you said on our Discord.
Yeah, I think he'd be a great Doctor Doom.
He'd
be a very wide, shirtless Doctor Doom.
Chestless, hairless chest.
Yeah.
Anthony, what do you think about this? Adam Driver, Reed Richards.
I love it.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
He does have a face.
Yes.
He does have a face,
He's
a very
got
distinct
eyes
face.
and a nose
He's
and a mouth.
very good actor, though. He's kind of wiry, built tall, wiry, kind of like Reed. I like it. I think he could kill Reed.
What if they make Reed? Because Reed, you think of, he's kind of like the older father patriarch, but what if they make him kind of like a hothead and maybe he has a temper and he's a little
come on.
crazy?
What are you doing?
No, come on. Let's do his actual character.
Why are you
For the
saying
love of
that?
I'm
God.
just saying, you could see, make it, because he's going to play him like Kylo Ren. Hopefully not.
No, he's not.
No, he's not.
Come on.
He's a good actor.
He's an actor.
Apparently, he's not that great in 65, but I don't think he was given a lot of great material. It's kind of in there, but
I think he can play a perfectly fine, awkward, yet super ambitious science guy that's smart and often gets lost in his work for the right wants to do the right thing, but gets lost in his work and lose track of his family and things. Like, come on, man!
I can see it.
He was in Marriage Story. He's great in that. He doesn't play one guy.
He's in Black Klansman. He's really good at that.
He's not a typecast guy.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I know. I'm just.
He's not. What is he? He's not the Frank Grillo.
Yeah.
Hey, you watch what you say about Frankie.
It's not Scott Adkins. What do you mean? No, but it'd be cool to be Reed Richards.
He's not Chris Pratt.
It's true.
Make him Doom. Dr. Doom would be great.
Doom. I mean, he could be a good Doom. Don't get me wrong, but his build. Look, he's a very lanky guy.
Yeah. He's tall and lanky. He's got the Reed Richards' body.
Cuts his hair short. I totally see the Reed thing going.
That's good. So, in the running, rumors for who will be playing Sue Storm. This is according to rumors from Grace Randolph. No, not again, Jessica Alba. I think we've passed the Jessica Alba. Grace Randolph has given us 4 names who she says are the final 4 up and comers. 1, Vanessa Kirby. 2, Mila Kunis. 3, Allison Williams, and 4, Jodie Comer. Now, Jodie Comer's name has been in the running for a long time. I wouldn't be mad with Jodie Comer or Vanessa Kirby. I like the Vanessa Kirby.
They're fine. They're both fine.
Mila Kunis.
Vanessa Kirby's a very good actress. Mila Kunis?
That's a weird one, yeah. Mila Kunis is in this.
I kind of like
That's a
the odd
mistake.
things though. Mila Kunis it'd be an odd choice, but
Nah,
I don't know if I would. I don't know.
I don't see that one.
Williams. Allison Williams is from
She was in Megan, and she's in Get Out.
Get Out. Yeah, she was the evil woman in Get Out.
Oh,
she's
yeah,
pretty good in
that's right.
that.
Yeah, she's
Jodie
not bad.
Comer. I haven't seen her in any movies.
Jodie Comer looks like Sue Storm
Jodie
Yeah.
Comer would be good.
in this photo with her blonde hair.
Yeah, I
She's
think Allison Williams could be. I think all these Mila Kunis would be the oddest one.
that'll be the honest one. Vanessa Kirby she's great. I love her she's in the
I like
Mission
her.
Impossible movies, and she can do action, and yeah,
No, Vanessa Kirby is in the Mission Impossible movies.
isn't she?
I think that she was in.
She was in the last
Oh.
two, wasn't she? In
Was
the
she?
last two?
Maybe. I think
Look
she
it
was
up.
in.
I'm not wrong.
You're right. Oh, you are. She was in Fallout. Yeah, you're right.
Yes, ding ding ding.
She was in Hobbs and Shaw. That's what.
Yeah. She was in Hobbs and Shaw too. Yeah. Oh yeah, she was his sister, right? She was
Yeah.
Statham's sister that was part of the movie. Anyways, let's see how this is shaping up. Matt Shackman will be directing. Probably should get. I feel like they're close to casting. Speaking of Marvel movies, the next one coming out, we're just under 2 weeks away from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Geek boner.
The finale, James Gunn last movie, possibly this team of Guardians last time out. I am very excited for this. Some critics have seen it. And of course, it's overwhelmingly positive. One of them saying the best movie since Endgame. But people, they're calling it brilliant and saddest and darkest of the MCU films. It is the longest of the three. It will be 2 hours and 29 minutes. And James Gunn has confirmed there are 2 post-credit scenes, which is weird if this is like they're closing out this chapter. If people are going to die, then they're going to set something up. We're going to see Adam Warlock. So also, here's the craziest thing. It will feature Marvel's first ever uncensored F-bomb in the movie.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, that's really good.
Oh shit.
Have you guys, there's a clip out. Have you seen this clip?
Which one? The one where he's talking to Gamora?
Yeah, they all
Yeah,
run
I've seen
out
that one.
of the house and they're trying to get in the car, and it's like an old.
No, I haven't seen that
You haven't
one.
seen that one? It's like an
No,
old
no.
80s car with, the door handle where you got to push the button in to open it, and she can't figure out how to open the door to the car. And he's trying to get him in, and he's like, push the button, and he eventually just goes, open the fucking door. And they bleep it in the clip, but it's not going to be bleep because, as we all know, you can have one fuck in a PG-13 movie. And apparently it wasn't planned. He told Chris Pratt to just throw it in wherever he wanted to, and this is where it ends up. So that's great. I love it. More F-bombs. How excited are you guys? Hype level for Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Now that we know
Scale of 1 to 10.
yes, he's going to swear. Does that help any?
I don't know. About a 7.5.
Okay.
A little bit above average.
I'm going to go about 6.5, 7, somewhere around
really?
there. I think I'd be more hyped if Marvel was a hotter brand, but I do like James Gunn, and I've liked both Guardians movies, and I did like the special. The F-bomb doesn't do anything for me.
Well,
But-
that's why.
Just,
Just Imran thinking
I'm
that's
being-
funny.
Imran just picks up on every story and like, yeah.
I'm being facetious.
F-bomb.
F-bomb. Come, everybody, buy your tickets now. It's F-bomb. No, look, like you said, it's been shaky. Out of all the movies we're getting this year, we have this and the Marvels. I'm expecting this one to be the one that maybe does return to form, that delivers. It's tried and true. You got this crew that everybody loves. You got James Gunn, his sensibility. He really knows these characters. I'm looking for it to be emotional and dark, just like the reviewers say.
I'm down for that. Why not?
So I feel like this will be the biggest box office earner out of all of them, and maybe the best out of what we've gotten for this year so far. Which is, what was the first movie?
Ant-Man.
Oh, Ant-Man,
Quantumania.
right. Ant-Man, Guardians, and the Marvels. Although I'm looking forward to the Marvels, but this one.
So what would you say is the best movie since Endgame? So thus far.
Oh, God, that is a good question.
Is it Shang-Chi?
Okay, hold on. I got to look this up.
I love No Way Home.
No Way Home.
I will put No
So
Way
it's better
Home.
than No Way Home. So people are saying that it's better than No Way Home.
No Way Home, and then maybe Shang-Chi.
Yeah, I would say that's No Way Home, and then Shang-Chi would be my two.
Let
right off the
Interesting.
top.
So since Endgame, yes, we've had Far From Home, Black Widow, Shang-Chi, Eternals, No Way Home,
I like Wakanda Forever.
Multiverse of Madness, Love and Thunder, Wakanda Forever, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. Definitely No Way Home sticks out. Multiverse of Madness, I don't know. I still kind of dig that just because it was Sam Raimi and you saw the Sam Raimi in it and there was some goofy shit, and it should have done more, but it was very imaginative.
I've never thought to watch it again.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on streaming.
Yeah, I watched it. I think I watched it twice in the theater, and I don't have any I desire either to revisit that movie. I liked it. I didn't, but it's one of those where it just kind of happened, and I liked it,
and then you just move on.
Yeah,
I did watch Wakanda Forever again. That was actually not a bad rewatch on a second time, and Shang-Chi is just solid. Another related story, we're talking about Sam Raimi, Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness. It was a situation where Kevin Feige really didn't have to supervise as much and micromanage. He was able to just let Sam Raimi handle it, and I think he liked it because there was a story out going, Kevin Feige may start picking more established filmmakers in the future because they may be done with picking people who've done like one TV show or an independent movie and throwing them into this fucking thing. He's seen that if he has someone established that they can just handle everything and he can step back a little bit more.
I don't understand why if they don't if they have like a certain thing written out, like guardrails, be like, okay, this is where we're going.
Right.
And these are these characters. You can't deviate from these characters, but do whatever you want.
What does the director do?
To there.
Yeah.
Then they have room to do stuff, but they just know where they have to end up. It's all they need, really, to tie these things together. And there'll be they'll pair them up with one of those nerds that know everything that's going on. It's their job to know shit. I think that's the best way to do it. Instead of like hiring somebody that has zero experience, you can micromanage the shit out of them. I don't know.
I mean, I think it would be cool to see a little more established directors.
I mean, you know that they have the previous guys doing the entire movie already.
Right, the shit has already like been storyboarded out and halfway done, like years ahead of time. So, you know, you had Chloe Zhao.
Well, that's the thing. Some of it is,
different.
but then you're reading a lot of reports that for instance, they're still writing the script as they're about to start
Thunderbolts
filming the movie.
Yeah, but the script is not the action pieces. Those things are already planned out. Like they just have to write and figure out how to weave those things together. And so, like, I don't think they're scrapping entire action sequences and starting from scratch. I don't think they're doing that. That's why these things are so clunky, because they should. New director, like, okay, start from scratch, like come up with your own shit. I think that gives you a lot more room to do things, but I don't think that's what they're doing. I don't believe it is. I'm just guessing from what I'm seeing and how it's very clunkily put together, but we'll see.
Okay. We'll see. I can't wait.
Guardians is going to be okay.
It's going to be just okay.
I think it's going to be pretty good.
I think I think it's going
to
to
be a good close to the Guardians.
It better make me cry at the end. The last one did when they fucking Yondu's funeral. Like I was almost had tears. That was good.
Yeah, I like that.
You need some good emotion. Okay, let's move over real quick to the DC Studios world. CinemaCon. It's going to be, I think it's this week. And this is the place where they preview a lot of movies, a lot of news coming out. Apparently, The Flash, that's coming out in July, they're going to show the whole movie at CinemaCon. So you may be getting a lot of spoilery details before this movie comes out. But one thing some people already know is that there has been some changes since James Gunn has taken over, and they have completely removed any direct references to the SnyderVerse. And apparently this movie happens in the 2017 Justice League, not in the remake. And he's never traveled.
What do you mean?
I mean, the 4-hour cut.
Oh, okay.
Zack Snyder's Justice League. But in this one, he has never traveled back in time before, doesn't remember meeting Iris, all that stuff. But they got to clear. I think there was cameos that also got cut. So, and it's not going to set up like a Crisis on Infinite Earths also is what I'm hearing, which is what was planned before. So hopefully this movie has a satisfying ending, because if you're resetting everything, I thought they would use this, but anyways, it's more a removal of the Snyder world.
Well, the Snyder version of Justice League.
The SnyderVerse Justice League, yes.
Right.
This is another
It's
one.
still the SnyderVerse. It's just the
I guess it
Whedon
is.
verse, SnyderVerse. Because it's still all these characters all live in this same universe.
Yeah,
Like
it was
this Flash.
probably a mistake for DC to release Justice League.
Snyder cut.
Yeah.
But it's good.
I mean, it's
though.
good. It's a good movie.
It's actually
and
an
I enjoyed
amazing
it.
experience.
It just creates way more confusion, and now you
Yeah.
have to have articles like this.
I know there's
Like-
two versions of this fucking movie that are almost completely different in spots.
And there's no good way of doing this
No.
because you really don't want to continue off the SnyderVerse, the Snyder Justice League, Snyder's cut, because it was never meant. It was released on streaming, but then you really don't want to piggyback off of Whedon's cut. It's a whole mess.
Yeah. And I think this is probably my most number one anticipated superhero movie of the summer of the year.
Should be pretty good.
I can't wait. Maybe
I just need to see what happens.
Marvel
That's all.
is taking notes on how to deal with problematic actors, maybe from The Flash, and just do nothing, don't say anything. But there hasn't been any, and it's a completely different thing, obviously, with Ezra. But with them, there hasn't been any stories about them lately. So maybe it's all good. Maybe it's all good now. I still want to join his cult though and go to his farm and
Yeah, get choked out by him.
Sure. Some people pay for that. And then the last thing, a little Godzilla news here. You guys already probably saw this teaser for
Right.
the next Godzilla versus Kong movie, the sequel. So we have our name and a date. The name of this movie is Godzilla X Kong, the New Empire, and it will be releasing March 15th, 2024. That's like what the hip kids are doing, right, Anthony? It's a collab, Godzilla X Kong. Isn't that what that means? Isn't that the thing? It's collaboration.
Is that a thing?
Isn't that the thing when like DJs collab or shoe brands collab with some?
Yeah, I
it's
guess
like,
X.
Yeah, Nike
But X has been a thing in Japan for a while too.
Oh, okay.
Pretty sure the Millennium Godzilla movies were, if they released in Japan, were Godzilla X, Mecha Godzilla.
Whoa.
So this trailer is also very weird. It's not like footage. It's like it's a
CGI thing they made.
Yeah, where you see some kind of figure sitting on a throne with his eyes glowing. Is it Kong? It's very lanky and it pulls out.
It's not Kong.
There's bones of things everywhere.
I think it is Kong.
You'd see. I don't know if it's Kong. It's weird.
I think it's the Red Emperor.
I don't know who's the Red Emperor.
I just made it up.
It's a new.
No, but if you look at it, it's clearly like a red-haired, either orangutan looking, like not an orangutan because these things are not apes, but
Right.
it reminiscent of
It's
that
ape-looking.
hair color
Yeah.
and that lankiness. But I think we'll still have more of a Kong-like face structure. And
Right now that I'm watching this,
and there's also, you remember the Iwi people who had those like little like the markings on their face when they go up into the close up, you could see a little bit of those markings on the forehead.
Oh.
So I'm thinking it's war paint.
you might be right. Now that I've watched this again, because it ends with the skulls of Godzilla and Kong.
Yeah, in the
so
foreground.
maybe this is what they're up against.
Is it
Yeah,
some sort of hybrid thing? Is Kong getting Godzilla powers? Is
Oh,
Godzilla
God.
getting Kong powers?
Well, the eyes are glowing, so
Yeah,
I don't know
exactly.
if either there's two theories: either he has powers, or the eyes are reflecting Godzilla, which it can go either way. But if in this case, if this Red Kong or Red Emperor Kong or whatever you want to call him has electricity powers or some kind of powers, that would probably even the playing field a little bit. But we don't know because Kong returned back to Hollow Earth, and maybe there's another fucking dude up in there. Going, yo, what are you doing?
Yeah, there's a lot of. It's got to be more creatures down
He
there.
took over since Kong left and went and fucked off to Skull Island. He's probably been the king down there.
I'm sitting on the
So.
throne now.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see what they can further explore into the histories and these titans and these mysteries. Adam Wingard returning to direct, and it stars Dan Stevens, Rebecca Hall, Brian Tyree Henry, Kaylee Hoddle. And you know what? That's already too many people characters. You don't need all these people. This is the problem with these movies.
They got rid of Bobby
Millie Brown.
Millie Bobby Brown and Chandler. Right? What's that guy's name from the other dude?
Chandler from Friends.
Chandler Bing. No, that guy from Friday Night Lights. Was he in the last one? The family, the father.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, he was
he in the last one?
Was he in the last one?
Yeah, he was.
No. He was in the
He's
last
the one that said Godzilla's killing people. We need to know why.
Yeah, it's like you guys don't get him. Millie Bobby Brown and the podcast, and oh my God, just cut all that people shit out, and you have a good. It's just let me watch the fucking fight. What are you doing with this fucking podcast?
I just want to see, like, okay, they've built up all this world building, and they talked about like Godzilla being worshipped, and they have the temple, but we've only seen snippets of that. We've only seen little allusions to it. We've only seen a little allusions to the other kaiju that are hiding and now dormant. Yeah, they all went to sleep somewhere. Who the fuck knows where they are? Like, it'd be nice to see them all hanging out in Hollow Earth. Just like,
you
know, like, oh, we're back, bros. We got Godzilla made a nice little tunnel for us. We could, slip and slide down that thing.
They can zip in and out in minutes.
Yeah,
like
just
how crazy do you think this will get?
There's no telling, Anthony. Like, I mean, Wingard doesn't give any fucks.
No, yeah,
about reality.
They've already opened Pandora's box by introducing Hollow Earth and all that stuff.
Once you have Godzilla like blowing a hole through the earth until the middle of it, and then Kong just like flies up it in within 30 seconds to fight him.
I mean,
something that should take him like a week and a half to do.
The whole battleship sequence, which is like, there's no way that shit would actual physics works like that, is amazing. I love that battleship sequence. And then just the battle at the end is phenomenal. It's a good fucking brawl.
Listen, this just goes to show, if you have good action, the story doesn't matter as long because that's what you're there for, right? You don't know,
you're there to see these guys fight.
Yeah, you don't care how you get there, really. At that point, I mean,
they
no one
didn't even
did
try with the story in that last one. I'm like, really? This is
no. I think that there was some other story there, but I think Wingard's like, no one's going to give a shit about this. No one's. Let's just fucking cut it and put this in it and just do it this way. So I think that it makes the movie a lot weaker, but still enjoyable. So.
Yeah, now I'm looking at this. I was convinced it was Kong the first two times I watched this. And
somebody else.
Now I don't think it is.
Yeah, he's too skinny and like lanky. His arms. I don't know.
It's such a non-threat. Well, right. I don't know.
But that's why he's probably got electrical powers or something.
But then they have the bones everywhere of all the dead.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's a bone graveyard, and then
new empire. So maybe
he's really
Kong.
tall.
What does that mean? What does that mean? We'll find out in March 2024. But I'm expecting some more over-the-top shit than the last one. It will be fun. All right, let's take a quick break here, fellas. We're going to play some promos, and we're going to come back, talk about Pedro Pascal not taking his helmet off at all. Mandalorian Season 3 right after this.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Pardon the interruption. I have some news which I believe you will find most interesting.
Would you like to hear the latest in Marvel television, film, video games, and comic books? Or are you looking for some ideas on what to pick up on New Comic Book Day? Well, join Mike and Eric on Mighty Marvel Geeks every Saturday night on Sorcerer Radio and every Sunday on the Weeby Geeks Network for all things Marvel.
There is a matter that requires your attention.
Mighty Marvel Geeks. Assemble!
All wrapped up here, sir. Will there be anything else?
We'll get you back to your regularly scheduled podcast in just a minute. But we wanted to introduce ourselves. I'm Jason.
I'm Jeff.
And I'm Blake on this highly produced advertisement.
That's right. It's the History of Bad Ideas, a.k.a. Hobie. You can find us on Twitter at Bad Ideas Podcast and on Facebook at the History of Bad Ideas. But if you like a podcast roundtable with 3 to 5 guests, usually every week, depending on sick leave, talking about all things geek, including movies, TV.
I ain't getting paid for this shit.
Blake bitching about something and ranting, and comic books and anything else that we can think of. We have a top 5 list every week. along with a box office news, and somehow we have listeners, so they send us some feedback we answer every week. You can find us on iTunes,
Stitcher,
Facebook,
Spotify,
and any good podcast app, because if you can't find us on that podcast app, it's not a good podcast app.
Damn straight. Roger says goodbye.
Goodbye.
Jock and Nerd.
Listener, if you enjoy the show, this is a fantastic time to join our Patreon fan club. Visit jockandnerd.com/Patreon.
Jock and Nerd.
And you can give back and support the show on a monthly or annual basis. There's lots of fun stuff there. There's a bonus RSS feed where the shows come out early. Bonus content is posted only there for our Patreon subscribers. So over there, what's been going on is we've been getting our 21st Century Action Movie Tournament all sorted out. There's an episode where we pick the movies. Last week, we posted an update, a little chat, because there's a poll for you, Patreon listener, to pick two of the movies to end up in the tournament. We're going to record another update after this show comes up with the results of the poll. And there's been some other updates. Anthony will explain all that. You got to sign up for the Patreon. Some new
you'll get to hear us react to the updates from the Patreon poll, picking the last two movies, and potentially some switching out of movies you'll just have to check it out. Give us some money and check it out.
You definitely don't want to miss it as we lock down all the movies that are going to be in the tournament. And then, Also, if you sign up for Patreon, you can get Discord benefits. We do a monthly Discord hangout. We just had one last month. It was lots of fun. Anthony, it's like 3 in a row you showed up to. Amazing.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Well
I think
done.
you're starting to like them,
It is. They can be fun.
Don't count your blessings. That might be the last time.
Oh, God. I shouldn't have said anything.
No, he'll come back.
The next one will be Thursday, March 18th, 8 p.m. Central Time. Sign up. Join us. It's a lot of fun. And there's a You Pick It tier where you can pick any movie for us to watch and review. All this fun stuff over on our Patreon. Check it out now. Okay, this week's review, Mandalorian Season 3 has wrapped up. We're going to review the whole season, our thoughts. Here is your spoiler alert.
Come on, baby. Do the magic hand thing.
Strap yourselves in, you fucks. Spoiler time.
Anthony, you binged all this in the last few days, I understand.
Yeah, I did.
That's great. That's great. That's probably the best way to watch this season anyways.
It is. I would say it's probably better. I probably had a better experience doing that than waiting week to week.
I think you might have. Season 3 has been crazy. So here, let's do this like we did with The Last of Us real quick. We're gonna check in with every episode, except for the first episode. We talked about the first episode. Get your quick comments, and then we can talk about the whole season overall. How does that sound?
Sure.
So the first episode we discussed, you can go back and listen. It basically sets up the premise. Mando and Grogu are reunited in Book of Boba Fett, and now he needs to redeem himself, bathed in the waters of Mandalore, on Mandalore.
The beautiful waters of Lake Minnetonka.
The beautiful waters of Lake Minnetonka. He's got to hang out with Prince and get served waffles and pancakes and stuff.
You like some grapes?
There's pirates. That's introduced. Navarro is doing well. It's a hopping town. Grief Karga is in charge. So, very quickly, second episode called The Mines of Mandalore. You think they're going to stretch this thing out? No. Mando goes to the Mines of Mandalore right away. He's like, I'm going there, bitches. They said it was poison. Turns out the air is not poison. Someone is lying to him. But he does go down there with R5, gets captured by a cyborg, and is ultimately have to be saved. The first of 2 times, I believe, Grogu has saved his ass this season by Grogu Bo-Katan. But he does bathe in the waters, and he gets sucked into a hole, and Bo-Katan has to dive in and save him. And as they're coming back up, she sees the mythosaur, this giant fucking thing that's attached to the lore of Mandalore. Anthony, comment on that episode. You got anything? What'd you think?
Oh, we're doing it like this? I know you just said that we're going to do it like this,
just
but
real quick.
wow, I'm trying to think.
Yeah.
The one where he jumps in the water?
Yes, the one where he goes in the water, he gets captured by that cool cyborg thing. And she sees the mythosaur.
I thought that was kind of a freaky episode. The little cyborg thing was an interesting looking monster. You had to call her. You get to see the creature underneath the water, the mythosaur. I was somewhat entertained by that episode. It wasn't bad.
Yeah, it narratively pushes the plot forward. It does something.
Yep,
It's
yeah.
not a waste of time.
Correct.
It is, okay, you need this for the story to happen.
The story is there. The story is moving forward very quickly. And I'm like, okay, good. Then we get to episode 3 called The Convert. And this one is the one that's bookended with a little bit of Mando stuff and is the whole Dr. Pershing cloner Andor type episode on Coruscant. So the Mando part of it is that Bo-Katan does not tell Mando she saw the mythosaur. Her castle gets destroyed. They do the whole Dr. Pershing thing. And they come back to the Mando show. And Din Djarin goes to the armorer with water from the mines. He says he's been redeemed. She's like, all right, you're all good. You're back in. And Bo, you know what? You got wet too. You're also in the group. Welcome to this covert death watch, whatever they are.
Covert. Yeah.
But Anthony, let me ask you this. They did a very weird thing by giving us this whole story of Elia Kane, who is a spy that works for the New Republic, used to work for Moff Gideon with Dr. Pershing, trying to restart his cloning.
Oh, that's this episode.
Yes, project.
Is this the third episode?
This is the third episode. And he gets mind wiped and she brainwashes him. And you're left going, what the fuck? What was all this?
It somewhat pays off in the last one, but
right.
Yeah, this was a weird detour for a character we only see once. Was that character in anything?
He was
before?
No, he's in the original season of The Mandalorian when they're trying to get Grogu. He's there with Werner Herzog's character, Mandalorian.
In the first episode, he's there.
In the first
That's
episode, yeah.
Oh, well, I don't remember that guy. I thought I don't remember that guy. But the episode was, I almost would have made that a one-off short instead of included it in this season.
Yeah, it was very strange.
I think that look, you could have showed the spy girl and her like kind of being a spy in like maybe a 5-minute thing instead of a 20-minute thing.
Or you could have maybe peppered that in throughout the season.
Right. It just
built up that guy as something you care about.
Yeah.
And do it as a parallel storyline type thing.
I just thought it just was one of those things that we see in Walking Dead where they just veer off to a thing, but it doesn't really pay off. Like the only thing you know is that, regardless, he's always been into cloning stuff. You established that Moff Gideon's into cloning.
Yeah, we established that. And that he's been trying to, steal Baby Yoda. You have to protect him, try to get his blood.
So we don't even need this storyline. It's unnecessary. I think it's a waste of time.
This is what you see in the middle of the season. Is there's a lot of padding.
Yeah,
there's a lot of padding, and we'll talk about why. There's an easy explanation, but I mean, part of me appreciated that it was kind of like Andor, and you could see Coruscant post Jedi, and it was beautiful to look at. It was like a Blade Runner city. They were trying to do the Andor thing, but it was very weird that it was just about Pershing, and it could barely pays off. Okay. Then we move on to episode 4 called The Foundling. This has some great bits as Mando is trying to train Grogu as a Mandalorian. He makes him fight that dude, Ragnar, Paz Vizsla's son. And you see Grogu use some force things to win. And then that kid is captured by the raptor. There's the big raptor, flies away. They got to go rescue him.
And for some reasons, their jetpacks don't work that day because
oh my god,
when they're in the middle, in a few episodes later, they can use a jetpack to do anything.
Yeah, well, as we'll see later, they can fly into fucking the upper atmosphere and fly just as long as they want. No problem. Except here, they're running out of fuel and they're having issues. And this kid comes out of this raptor mouth completely dry, not even gooey, not even digested. What's going on there? In the meantime, the special part of this episode, I thought, was Grogu hangs back with the armor. She makes him a medallion out of Beskar for him, and he has visions. He has flashbacks. We see his rescue from Order 66 by this Jedi Kelleran Beck, played by Ahmed Best, who played Jar Jar Binks and almost fucking killed himself for getting shit for playing Jar Jar Binks. Kind of a nice redemption for this actor to play this Jedi, dual-wielding lightsabers.
That was cool. Yeah, that was cool.
That was cool, and we finally got to see I don't know what happened after he saved him, but it's because of him, Grogu is spared. And then it ends with them saving the boy. They bring back the raptor babies, which never show up again. What happened to them? They had two little raptor.
Yeah, you would have thought that would have paid off later.
Did they eat them? Do you think they ate them? It's possible.
No, I thought they brought them back as newfoundlings.
Oh, they did, the raptor babies.
Yeah, they were like, we have new foundlings or new recruits or whatever, however they
I thought they would have been fucking flying around on those fuckers later, but no.
Maybe you just can't notice them when they're wearing the helmets. They just look different.
They look just like them. Also, at the end, Bo-Katan tells the armorer she saw the mythosaur, and the armorer is like, sure you did. You know, that's like, she doesn't quite believe her, but she's so far, it's the only person she's told. Anthony, any other comments on this episode? I thought the Baby Yoda flashback was great.
I thought the birds looked pretty good.
Yeah.
Were they birds? I don't remember.
Yeah,
the babies, they look pretty good.
Yeah, the raptor or whatever it was.
It was just like it was kind of your typical mission of the week Mando episode.
Oh, yes. Then this show shifts back to what kind of originally was like this Western villain of the week shit. But throughout the whole thing, it looked really good. Like how they shot that thing flying into the sun. Like I thought it looks great. It's shot well.
Nice.
Yeah,
it really did look good.
Okay,
a lot of the show looks good.
Yeah.
A lot of the stuff.
Yeah, and and as we get to the end, like it gets better. Like you could tell they saved their money for like the last two episodes. Episode 5. Now we get into some fucking mission of the week shit. This one's called the Pirate. Oh, remember Goran, Shard, and Vane and those pirates they fucking fucked with in the first episode. Oh, he's not happy. Goran, Shard, not happy. Invades Navarro. Wants to take it over. Carson Teva, who we've seen, X-Wing pilot, goes to the New Republic, try to get some help, and nobody gives a fuck. You got a Tim Meadows cameo, lots of cameos, beginning of lots of crazy cameos. Tim Meadows from SNL, and it's kind of a bureaucratic clusterfuck. Ilya Kane is there also hearing this, so he can't get the New Republic to help. He goes to find Mando. He's like, your buddy is in trouble, and I just thought you should know. And then there's a great battle scene where they retake Navarro. They all drop in, fucking take out the pirates. They kill Goran Shard and his ship. That dude Vane flies off. We never see him again. Also, he's still out there,
right?
And
I don't remember who's Vane.
He was the one pirate that was at the end just fucked off in the ship after they took out all the other ones, and then and they dropped the big ship, the fucking Goran Shard.
And then Apollo Creed's like, yeah, I'll give you guys a place to hang out.
Yeah, Apollo.
Oh, this guy.
Yeah.
I'm looking at him now.
Yeah, and then Apollo Creed's like, you guys can live here. It's cool.
Here.
And then Armor just decides to change some rules on them as she tells Bo-Katan, oh, since you saw the mythosaur, you're the one to unite Mandalore, and you can take your helmet off. You've been in both worlds. This is the way. No problem.
Yeah, that was just very random.
All of a sudden, she could take her helmet off. So that happens, and then you get the nice little epilogue of Carson Teva flying around. He finds Gideon's prison transport. It has been busted open. Everybody inside is dead. Gideon's not there, and there is some shards of Beskar, possibly left as a misdirect, or did some Mandalorians do this? Kind of a fun mystery way to end that one. I thought that this was a good side mission, like that scene where they fight the pirates and take Navarro back. That was pretty dope. It was a good little shootout.
Well, my guess is that the Mandalorian armor that, well, I don't really spoil the last episode, but there's a reason that there's Mandalorian armor there.
Oh, I think I know why. Yes, because of what Moff Gideon soon. Okay, and then we get to episode 6, possibly the most divisive episode of the season amongst fans. This whole season has like great moments, and then moments you're like, what is happening? Another side mission. While Mando and Bo-Katan are looking for her crew so she can get them back to help retake Mandalore, they get pulled aside, literally just yanked into this whole town where it's just Jack Black and Lizzo are hanging out.
A lot of padding in this one, too.
Who's got the padding on the... Yeah, it's in the costumes.
No, I'm saying this episode is just
this
padding.
Is more padding, yes.
Yeah.
So keep going. Where were they doing?
So Jack Black and Lizzo are like, we need your help. There's some rogue Imperial droids. We have a bunch of droids. We reprogrammed them. Right. Not all of them are behaving, and it becomes like a Mando CSI or a Law and Order CSI. And there are some funny bits where Mando's walking around the factory and he's just kicking droids to see if one of them reacts. The droid's like, I wouldn't do that. What are you doing? Please stop kicking them. And one of them runs, and they fucking shoot it down, and they find a business card on him that leads to a droid bar which is
because droids carry business cards.
Yes, because droids all have a piece of identification on
They
them.
have wallets.
Yes, he finds a matchbook to the droid bar, the resistor, I think it's called. And the droids are there just sipping oil or something. And we find out the real person doing this is Christopher Lloyd, old Doc Brown. He's still a separatist, and he has poisoned the droids with nanobites, whatever. They find him, and she zaps him, and that whole unnecessary padded storyline is over. And then the important stuff happens at the end. After all that side mission, Bo-Katan challenges Axe Woves, who is the leader of her old fleet, for leadership. They fight, and she beats him. And then he's like, you don't have the Darksaber. And then Mando is like, oh, you know what? Actually, this is yours. I lost it to the cyborg in the mines. You defeated the cyborg. Therefore, ipso facto, by the way, this Darksaber is yours. Something he probably could have mentioned earlier, but decided to just wait until now to get across. What, Anthony, when you saw Jack Black and Lizzo, what was your first reaction?
That was kind of funny. It kind of takes you out of the episode a little bit. It
completely takes you out of the whole show.
But I don't take Mandalorian all that seriously. So
I don't
for
care.
me, it's whatever.
I don't care that Lizzo's in it. I don't care that Jack Black's in it. I just care that they wasted a whole episode on a stupid story that doesn't add anything to anything.
Like, I would watch a show like that where Mando and
give
Bo-Katan...
Lizzo a good part. Give Jack Black a good part, not a fucking stupid, like, a throwaway, like, episode when you got 6 episodes to tell a story, and you've already wasted one entire one on something else that you could throw away.
I mean, they wasted Christopher Lloyd. Like, they could have gave him a lot more. He's amazing. He's old, but he's
it's just
fantastic.
a waste of talent, it's really just a waste episode.
He didn't even say Great Scott once.
If it wasn't for that fight at the end where she kind of wins the episode's completely disposable.
Yeah, so padding with a little bit of the story as bookends seems to be...
Isn't this, though... isn't this how Mandalorian is? Are we not? I feel like this has been the way for the way.
This has
been how it has been since the first season. Don't they have these
but
mission
that's
of the week type stuff?
But we had these criticisms before, and they haven't. They've wasted lots of time. We've talked about this, how they seem to condense things that are important and waste time on other things. And at this point, it was getting better. And now it's kind of getting worse again as far as how they do that.
The problem at this point so far compared to the other seasons is, like you said it when I asked you when you caught up to 6, there's no direction. Like, you're not sure where it's going. The other seasons had these standalone side stories, but it was more focused. It was, I don't know, it was balanced. It was weaved in better. This one it's so far, like, the middle of the season is just clunky and uneven, and like, I'm like, what is going on? And we can talk about why again, but we get the last 2 episodes of this fucking season, which to me was like the most like classic cinematic Star Wars feeling out of them all. So it's, does it redeem itself? We'll see. Episode 7, titled it's called, this is not The Return. I got the wrong title. Anyways. This is where they finally get back to the main fucking story. We meet up with Moff Gideon for the first time. Oh, the spies. Yes, and there are like no spies in this episode. I still don't know what the fucking title is talking about. We get back to the story. Moff Gideon meeting with the Shadow Council. This is a great opening monologue because we haven't seen Gideon this whole time. We know he was arrested. He was busted out. And we find out he's talking to the Shadow Council, and one of them keeps name dropping Thrawn. When is Thrawn coming? We got to get ready for Thrawn to come back. I was like, oh shit. Geek boner. They're really hyping up Thrawn. You also meet a young General Hux that you saw in the sequel trilogy. He mentions a necromancer project, which I thought was tied into them bringing back Snoke and the cloning. So, Gideon and the Shadow Council, and he's trying to tell them, I will take care of these Mandalorians. Then we get possibly the best Baby Yoda bit, because so far in these middle episodes, Mando and Baby Yoda have done fuck all. Baby Yoda is just hanging around with Lizzo in that last episode, playing fucking sports, being cute, and they've really got nothing to do. You get the best Baby Yoda shit in these last 2 episodes, where Grief Karga creates an IG droid, IG-12, where he puts Baby Yoda in him, and he can control him, and he can say yes or no. and it's hilarious. And there was like a droid having an orgasm when he kept pressing the yes button. I love that. I love that because it gives Grogu a little bit more agency. Like he's a little bit stronger. You can keep up with them. He's taller. He could do stuff. That was great. So they get to Mandalore. They're going to retake Mandalore. And you know these fuckers are hiding out on Mandalore, which is why Gideon is nervous. They meet some other Mandalorians who have still been there on this boat. And then you find out a little more backstory on Bo-Katan, how she admits she did surrender to Gideon after Mandalore was destroyed, but he betrayed her anyways. Didn't stick with the bargain. That she thought her people would be spared. Nobody knew that. And there's another big kaiju smashes their boat. But they get to the mines. They find the great forge, and they are ambushed by, you see a tease of this early on. These are Beskar enhanced stormtroopers. These are kind of cool. They have kind of a design of stormtroopers mixed with Mandalorian helmets.
They're like in between the two. Yeah,
they're like a hybrid. So they have Beskar armor. And Bo-Katan does kind of a dumb thing. I thought she was good at leading an army. She's supposed to be experienced. They go in, they're fighting them. The stormtroopers retreat, and Bo is like, follow them. They're retreating. I believe like war military 101 is like never follow a retreating army because it's probably a trap. And you knew it was a trap, and it was a trap. And I'm like, Bo, what the fuck are you doing? That was dumb. They get separated. Moff Gideon shows up, captures Mando, and Paz Vizsla sacrifices himself. He's killed by those dudes in red. The Praetorian guards are badass. When those dudes in red show up, you don't fuck around. They don't fuck around. I'm always nervous.
Well, if you're Rey, you just easily destroy them.
Oh yeah, so you just take them out because you're one with the Force.
Yeah,
I mean, this episode I thought was great. There was a couple of funny bits, right? Like Bo-Katan cuts a hole in the fucking wall for the Mandalorians to escape. But Paz Vizsla is so big and he's got a huge gun. I'm like, dude, there's no way you're gonna fit in that hole. What are you doing, Bo? Oh, you couldn't cut I'm sure he was like, you couldn't cut the hole a little bit bigger. There's no way I'm getting through there. Look at me. And he doesn't. Anthony, comment on this one. It picks up. We get back to the story.
Yeah, it was good. We finally figured out this was the episode where I was going, oh, now I understand where this is all going.
Exactly.
It's about this season is about the Mandalorians getting their home back. We've weaved all over the place and it wasn't all that clear, but now we know what's happening.
And that's been some of the criticism is like, if this was the Bo-Katan show, you know, why don't you just call it like Bo-Katan edition or have Mando a little more involved, but she largely takes charge. But we find out he wants to complete the Great Purge of Mandalore. He wants to kill everyone. He's created these troopers.
Is this the episode where he tells her though that he all he cares about is honor, and he doesn't?
Yeah,
like the sword doesn't mean anything to him, and he's basically telling her he's in her debt forever.
Oh yes, he's like,
is that this episode?
Your song, yes. They all, and there's also that moment
because she's all talking about how she regrets this, and she's not, and you know, and how the Mandalorians all have different things, and he's just like, I don't care about any of that.
Yeah, he's like, I will serve you. Your song hasn't been written or something.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I like the speech. You know,
and that moment where she's like, who will join me to do this? And everybody goes, I will join. I will come. And they all get up. Right. I was like, that's fucking great.
It was good. There was some good stuff.
Well, like, I think that the Mando hasn't been around a Mandalorian like Bo-Katan. Right? He's in this like kind of religious sect that's on its own. It's isolated. And then he sees what like this Mandalorian royalty is up to and what her beliefs and how she comports herself with like leadership and ferocity and all that type of stuff. And he like admires that. Okay. Like that there is honor beyond his kind of religious beliefs. And so I think that that's a cool message. I feel like that this whole thing, they tried to make it about the fandom.
A little fan service.
Well, no, they're trying to say like, okay, there's two sections of the fandom, right?
Oh, yeah.
There's like the hardcore fans, which are like the religious Mandalorians that won't take their helmets off.
Yep.
And there's these other people that are kind of more I guess, more relaxed.
Yeah.
And more secular.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So,
more liberal.
And they need to band together because they're Mandalorians.
But it's also like religion, right? It's an analogy for religious and being orthodox or being not as orthodox in different levels. I feel like there's a lot of Jewish comparisons with the Mandalorians because they were, kicked out of their home and wandered and had to retake.
Well, that's what I think what the Spies is about.
Who was the spy, though?
Because the Spies is like there's a story about like the Hebrews trying to spy and see if they can reclaim their home.
Yes. Oh, maybe
they sent 12. They sent 12 guys to go check it out. So,
like her little recon group, yeah.
And I think there was 12 Mandalorians that were in that first group.
Well, also, this was just supposed to be a fucking recon group to check it out, and then you call everybody in, and then she just fucking goes in, guns blazing. Not the smartest move, but the heat of the moment, I get it.
Yeah, well, they called for reinforcements, but they couldn't. They couldn't. They had to send that dude up.
So the dude goes out the hole. He's like, I'll get reinforcements. Mando gets captured.
I did find that odd. You probably pointed this out. Yeah. Sorry to interrupt, but I did find it odd that he could just go so far on the jetpack earlier in the episode. Other episodes, the jetpack couldn't do those kind of things.
Yeah, and all of a sudden these jetpacks. I don't know what happened. I think the power of Mandalore has gone into these jetpacks, making them more powerful.
Well, in this last episode, lots of action, lots of jetpack action.
It's like Spider-Man's web only runs out when it's convenient for the plot.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm like, also, you watch them fly around. I'm like, doesn't that burn your butt? It looks hot. How do you know? Well, I guess they're wearing Beskar ass chaps, maybe.
I just like how the jetpacks stick on top of your cape.
Oh, yeah. Mando takes one off one of the stormtroopers, and I'm like, is he going to put it over his cape? Don't you want to move that aside? It's magnetic. It's fine.
You can't put it under your cape.
And it doesn't burn the
have
cape.
A cape.
Yeah, you don't need a cape, and then it doesn't burn the cape. So then we get
maybe it burns cold. I don't know.
It might be like cold fusion, yeah. But they had a lot of fuel, and I just kept thinking, how do they have all this fuel to fly around and fucking do shit? Episode 8, the finale, titled The Return, starts right where we left off in the last episode. Bo-Katan has to retreat from the base, and Axe Woves gets up there and sends the remaining Mandalorians down to help as they release the TIE fighters, which are great. That was a great scene because they're hanging like bats. They're originally designed to look like bats, and they just drop down and fly out. Fucking TIE fighters are dope. And then Mando escapes from his captivity to go find Gideon, and he gets help from Grogu in his IG-12 costume. They find cloning tanks.
No.
Yes. No, it's great. Great.
No.
I love the fucking IG-12. They come across this room with all these tanks for the memories, and it's got clones of Gideon in there. So Gideon
for the memories, that's pretty good.
Tanks for the memories. Tanks. Gideon's got like 6-8 clones. I don't know how many that he's making, and Mando just fucking destroys them somehow.
I think it's great that Gideon will clone himself to be 59 or 60 years old.
Why wouldn't you clone yourself to be a little bit younger?
Yeah, like clone yourself to be 25. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, he's just, no, I can only clone at my age. Anyways, Mando presses some buttons on the computer. Those fucking things all explode. The clones are dead. And there's another great scene where he has to have R5 help him patch in, scomp the base to help him find Gideon. A lot of this episode reminded me of Return of the Jedi, where there's multiple things happening at once for the big conclusion. R2 did a similar thing. R5 comes in, patches in, opens force shields so he can take out the stormtroopers. Little funny bit with those little mouse droids coming to attack him, but he gets away. One finds them and calls more. And then we have the reinforcements fly in. We got dope scenes of Bo-Katan flying around with the Darksaber, just slicing motherfuckers. The armor is there. It's a great fucking battle. Then Moff Gideon does show up. Moff Gideon's fucking suit is badass. What did you think of the design with the little horns, like very kind of Darth Vader?
Well, it looks like the Death Watch, the Darth Maul army that they had over there.
Yeah.
In the Rebels, I believe, right?
Oh yeah.
They have one of the, I think it was Vizsla's ancestor. He had horns because he was in. Anybody that was in Maul's army had horns like that on their head.
Oh, okay.
But the armorer also has horns on her head. But I think that's supposed to make it look like more regal.
Yeah.
But yeah, that armor is really cool, and I like that. If you remember Moff Gideon from like the other seasons, he was like a skinnier Moff Gideon. He was like skinnier and more. They made him look like he was more like buff because I guess he's a clone and a younger version of him.
Well, see, here's the thing that can be debated. We will talk about that because there's a final battle between Mando and Gideon, and Bo-Katan shows up while Grogu is kind of separated, and the Praetorian guards are going after fucking Baby Yoda. I was like, oh shit, that made me nervous. And that whole scene was great. I was like, baby, get the fuck out of there. What are you doing? And he's got to fly out. He's jumping around, avoiding the Praetorian guards while Bo-Katan shows up and kind of takes over the fight, tells him to go save his kid, which he does. Meanwhile, Axe Woves has this giant ship that is being torn apart by the TIE fighters. It's coming down. It's blowing up. He is going to ram it right into the base. He tells everyone, get the fuck out of there. And presumably this thing crashes into the base. We see Gideon engulfed by flame, but the Beskar is flame is retardant. It protects you. And then the scene out of the whole season that gave me fucking chills is Baby Yoda using the Force to make a bubble to protect them at the last minute. It was beautiful. The way they did it was beautiful. It gave me legit goosebumps.
You want to know what else was crazy about that? It's like the music cue.
Yes.
Is exactly the same music cue when Moses parts the Red Sea in Prince of Egypt.
Get the fuck out. Are you serious?
Pretty cool.
Oh my God.
I mean, to me, that's what it sounded like.
Yeah, it was because I was like, oh shit, what happened? And just the way it was, the fire and that, I got fucking chills. That was fantastic.
Yeah, I got the chills too. I felt a little something.
And this time he doesn't like pass out. He just sits down. Like you can tell clearly he's better with the Force. You know, during the fight, he's pushing these fuckers away. He's pushing away their weapons. Does do some cool stuff. So we are left with.
Do you feel like Grogu could be animated better?
The puppetry work and the jumping around. Sometimes when he's walking, it's a little like floaty.
I feel like that there's something not quite great about it, but
he doesn't seem as heavy as maybe he should look. Right? It seems a little light.
I feel like
I don't have a problem with it.
I feel like it's a little. It could be done a little bit better. That's my.
I like that I can tell that it for the most part a lot of it's real.
Yeah.
Like they have a real thing on there,
right?
This real puppet, and he's just
a puppet. Yeah,
so adorable. So we are left with Gideon dying in the blast. Presumably, the Mandalorians restart their Great Forge in the middle of Mandalore. They've retaken Mandalore. Din Djarin says, I want to adopt Grogu. And she's like, okay, he's no longer a foundling. He's your adoptive son, Din Grogu, which is a weird naming convention. I thought they used their last names. And then they retake Mandalore. She's like, he's your son. And then she's like, okay, now fuck off and have some adventures. You just did this whole thing. And then they leave. Grogu and Mando leave. They go back to Navarro. He talks with Carson Teva. He's like, look, I'm around. You need to get any off the books projects. I will help you out. I'm a bounty hunter. It's what I do. Grief Karga gives him a little house in the suburbs.
It's interesting that he doesn't want to live with them.
Right. She told him to leave. She goes, go and have adventures with your new son. And
well, because he's so by the book about everything, I thought he would have wanted to come back to Mandalore and live with them. I know that they put in the earlier episode that he can come to Navarro and live there.
But I just
thought that was a little odd.
He's a bounty hunter, right? That's all he knows is like taking jobs and moving on. And also he has rebuilt, Grief Karga has rebuilt IG-11, and he is now the Marshal of Navarro. And it ends with just the cutest, it ends with the weird like finality, the cutest shot of Mando sitting on his porch with his feet up, and Grogu is just floating frogs, playing with frogs. And it's just like, then they do the circle wipe into them. And it fades to black. Like it's a very satisfying ending, almost closing out this whole 3 seasons, almost like the end of the series, which is it was weird. I was like, wow, is that it? We know that there's going to be more. But the way they ended this was very interesting.
Don't they have season 4?
He said he wrote already? Season 4.
Yeah.
There's going to be a movie.
And then they're going to make the movie.
Yeah, with Dave Filoni. But the way this closed out in a nice little package with a bow on top was I didn't mind. It was kind of satisfying. So back to the name, Din Grogu. Look, there's Jango Fett and then there's Boba Fett. There's Pre-Vizsla and then there's Paz-Vizsla. They're related. Why the fuck isn't he named Grogu Jaren instead of Din Grogu? They're not stay consistent. It's a minor thing.
That's the thing you're gonna put.
Well, yeah, it is weird, but maybe this is the only thing that I'll say is that you know how we're all humans and we live on a planet, and then in Japan they have the reverse.
Well, the Korean names are backwards too, as we learned in Physical 100.
Right.
Yeah.
So yes. So was it Korean or is it Japanese? I'm not sure.
I think
they both have it.
Yeah, they both have it.
Korean and the Koreans have names in front. I think Chinese too. Japanese, I think your name is in the back.
So maybe
really? So I got that wrong.
It's a different sect that just does the reverse. So
maybe it's because he's not Grogu's not born Mandalorian.
Did you think he was gonna talk for a second? Because she's like, he can't talk, he can't take the creed, and he's fucking babbling, and it almost sounds like he's saying something. He didn't say anything. Will he ever talk? I don't know. Anyways, yes. Overall,
did you have fun narrating the entire season?
I did. It was great because let me tell you what. I want to know what you thought overall. I thought the season started strong and ended strong, and the middle was very, very shaky and uneven-ish.
I think you could edit this down into like a 2.5 hour movie, and it'd be better than watching the series.
Really, it could have been
pretty good. Yeah. That's a good thought there. I did like the season overall. I think, as I mentioned earlier, watching it as in a what you would call it binge, was a bit better experience for me. I liked the finale. I don't think the finale is as good as the other two seasons' finales, for what it's worth. I know you posed this question, and I completely agree with it. I think them as the pro wrestling fans say, them hot-shotting the Grogu Din Djarin reunion in the season of Boba Fett,
hot-shotting
really took a lot of weight. Yeah, that means when you basically have a storyline that you could have extended and played out over a long time, and instead you just wasted it very quickly.
I like that. Okay.
Them doing that in Boba Fett, I think, kind of gave this season a meandering tone because no one really knew what we were building towards. I think if you would have played that out,
oh my god,
in this season, and then also did Bo-Katan and them reclaiming Mandalore, I think that might have made a much more meaty season.
Yes,
and given the season a little bit more weight. I also thought it was a little bit odd that they showed the Mythosaur in one of the episodes.
Yeah.
And the Mythosaur played no factor in them reclaiming Mandalore.
Well, Grogu kind of they allude that Grogu like sensed it, or it sensed the baby at the very end. There's another quick shot, but it never comes out. Stays underwater. Yeah,
I would have thought when they're battling for Mandalore, because the Mythosaur had been a myth,
right?
That they'd seen it. They're like, oh wow, the Mythosaur is like a thing.
Yeah.
And then when they most need the help of when they're in their dire straits, the Mythosaur helps.
That would have been interesting. Just fucking see the thing come out.
That's too cool. There might be saving it for the fourth.
Maybe
saving it.
Rex, did you mind all the Mandalore lore and kind of this it mostly being about Bo-Katan?
No, I don't care.
Yeah, I like the Mandalore stuff.
Because you want to know something? I'm glad someone has their helmet off.
Yes.
Because, you have like 20 characters with fucking helmets on and you got a puppet. And I'm like, all right. And the thing that I noticed is that they're wearing these helmets and it's hard for them to see shit. And you could totally tell in these action sequences sometimes when they're using real people.
Yeah.
Like that they're having trouble seeing that whole scene where Mando is killing all those guards. You know that guy in the stunt suit's like doing his best.
I don't know what's happening.
Fall down. Yeah, he's like, "What's behind me? I have no idea."
I mean, parts of it, they do the thing where like they make Mando kind of bumbling and incompetent, but at the very end, he's fucking John Wick, and that shit was great when he's finally badass and he's taking out all the stormtroopers. But we don't see that until the very end. But yes, imagine if they had that whole reunion in this season. Would have been a great season. And more fulfilling.
Yeah, it would have started out better.
Was the ending satisfying for you guys, despite all of this?
I don't know. Do you think that it's satisfying I guess, because it ends the story and Mandalore has a new beginning, and I think that's a good place to be. I also think that Moff Gideon's not dead.
Yes, I think Moff Gideon.
That would be so cheap to bring him back again.
They shouldn't, but they're going to, because they mentioned clones. Maybe that was a clone. There's theories online. People are like, in the first season he has a mustache. Now he doesn't have a mustache. And they're like,
and he was skinnier.
And he was skinnier. So like when you said that, I was like, maybe that was a clone. Maybe the Beskar protected him. They could have, did like a post-credit scene where Gideon is still around. But I don't think he's dead either, because it's very strange that this whole buildup. Okay, we didn't even mention the craziest thing is he just destroys the fucking Darksaber like it's a fucking Fisher-Price toy in her hand. And I was like, wait a minute. I thought this fucking thing was important. This whole thing where it's stealing Baby Yoda's blood to make these Force sensitive, I thought this was going to be a big thing. No, they're all dead. The Darksaber's done. Really? That's it?
I think since Grogu's going to become a Mandalorian, he's going to reassemble the Darksaber.
It's busted.
I would say that for fans of all the Star Wars stuff, I'm sure it was pretty cool to get Mandalore to come back.
Yeah.
For me, I think it was all right. I didn't really care about Mandalore, but I don't care about Star Wars, so my opinion really doesn't matter. I think them kind of tying it back at the end to Grogu, the whole show is really built around Grogu and Mando.
Right.
And their relationship. So to have that little moment at the end where he helps them, it was good. I just think, harping back, I think you really just did the show a disservice by putting a big part of what this season could have been about in fucking Boba Fett. That being said, overall, the show doesn't offend me at all like Boba Fett does for the most part. It's an easy watch. There's stuff that moves around and is a little bit meandering, but it doesn't suck like Boba Fett. It doesn't even really suck that much like Obi-Wan. So for me, it's okay.
I mean, it still delivers the goods
Well, there's a lot of criticism about this season being terrible.
Yeah.
Do you agree
I don't
with
think
that?
it's terrible.
I don't think it's terrible. I don't think it's the strongest. What you said
They
earlier.
set a high bar.
They set a high bar, and I think this is probably the weakest season and the weakest finale out of all of them.
Look, think about this like this too. They set a high bar at Mando 1 and 2. You have Boba Fett, which fucking sucked.
Yeah.
And then, but in Obi-Wan, whatever. But then you have Andor right before this. So now everyone's really tuned into a different vibe, like a much more serious vibe, a much more focused storyline. And then you jump back to this, and it's not that, and it's not as good as the first two seasons. I don't think it was bad, though.
I think they just need to tighten it up a little bit. And
I like your thought on the 2.5 hour movie. I think if they would have done this as a Mandalorian movie and had Mando in it, I think that would have really worked. I think actually you're onto something there.
Well, the thing is, it's the biggest important thing that's going on. It's not Mando and the pirates or Grief Karga, this and that, blah, 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 and these other characters. The story is that Mando wants Mando, number one, and Grogu reuniting, and now but the other thing is that he's trying to figure out his place in the world, and through this religion, he's got to go to Mandalore, and actually, because he's so desperate, he's going to go to this planet that's supposedly dead and barren and poisonous, because he's so desperate to define his life by this religion, because he feels like he has no purpose without it. And then he goes and he discovers that, hey, all the things that we've heard is bullshit. We can totally go back to Mandalore, and that changes the game. That's an interesting story, but and they do touch on it. But imagine that was their focus. Imagine that they really wanted to get in there and instead of talking about all these things that happened with Moff Gideon, how he turned on Bo-Katan, we could actually see some of that. Maybe, I don't know.
I mean, who is the titular Mandalorian of the show title? It can be debated that it's all of them. It's Bo-Katan. It's him. But yeah, if he was more your point of view character in all of this, instead of kind of being sidelined through some of this padding, it would have been a little bit tighter. But when it's good, like I said, the last two episodes I fucking loved. I thought that was classic, good fucking traditional Star Wars action. It felt cinematic.
Yeah.
We never see Pedro Pascal's face this whole season,
No.
and apparently it's because he was shooting Last of Us. But there was rumors that he clashed and stuff, so I don't know. But I didn't expect to see his face.
I just thought it was weird that the armor just changed her mind about Bo-Katan, and just seemingly out of nowhere. And even though Bo-Katan is the heir apparent, like she is the royalty. She is the person that should be in charge of the Mandalorians.
They do leave it in a place where you can kind of reset and just have adventures now with Mando and Grogu. So at least they tried to close up everything and connect everything.
Yeah, he's not really bound to being on Mandalore, which is cool.
Yeah, they tie up a lot of the things from the last 2 seasons. So it didn't seem too rushed. They used 2 episodes, but yeah, those last 2 episodes, that was the fucking best shit.
So, Anthony, what was the coolest thing for you story-wise? Like, is there anything that you're like, hey, I'm glad I saw that? Or you just were like, I'm there for the action. Let's see what happens.
Coolest storyline?
Or coolest bit that you picked up?
I thought it was interesting, some of the Mandalorian lore and all the different sects and then interacting with one another and fighting with each other. I thought that was kind of interesting. The last 2 episodes were the best. I thought overall, though, the show looked pretty good. Didn't look cheap. Yeah, it was okay. It was okay. As long as the show does, I said it again, but I'll say it again. As long as the show doesn't offend me and have a fat guy as Boba Fett, then I'm fine. Just don't cast a 65-year-old fat man in as the lead and expect me to think he's going to kick everyone's ass, and then he's a fucking pussy throughout the damn show. And just, I hate Boba Fett.
He used to be so cool, bro. What happened to you? No, I think like you echoing like the casual fan, because Brian Goff said it also in our last Discord. He's also a casual fan, and he was like, I was entertained. I thought it was good. It's just this fandom sometimes.
I think it helps me for me personally. I think it hurts that I don't actually like what I'm watching most of the time, so that hurts it. But it also kind of helps because I don't give a shit. So like none of this stuff matters to me.
Right.
I don't know about the lore. I don't care about the lore. So for me, as long as you don't offend me, it's good.
I think it had the lowest viewership too of the other 2 seasons. So a lot
interesting.
of people
Why do you think that is?
It was bad? Because it was a little shaky in the middle and all over the place, but some weird decisions.
Well, you have this new industry of like dudes that like hate everything.
Yeah.
Like they just live to like make videos about hating everything.
Yeah.
And even though I hate lots of things, I also try and mention good stuff and things that I like or whatever. I'm not out to get the Mandalorian. I want it to be good. I like it when there's stuff that I like about it. I do think that the show is suffering a little bit by inconsistency and not having a direction and not knowing which character to follow.
Yeah.
I think those are honest criticisms.
Yeah.
Like you can't just auto hate it because they focused on Bo-Katan. Like that didn't bother me. I want to see what happens with Bo-Katan. Yeah. She's a good character.
Yeah.
So like a lot of these criticisms that are coming are just mad that Bo-Katan was in or mad that Lizzo was in it. I don't give a fuck if Lizzo's in it. Just use her well.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't care. It just sometimes they just do stuff because they think it's cute and it's like it doesn't really add anything to the story. So I'm like, it's not we had a whole episode with the other character. It's not like I hate that character. I just hate that we wasted that time and it didn't pay off. And I knew it wasn't going to pay off. I'm like, when I saw that, I'm like, they just mind wiped a guy. Why do we spend a guy that is incidental? Like he already did his thing. He already did he's not even doing the shit anymore. He's not even doing the cloning anymore.
Yeah, I didn't understand. Like, so Gideon says, "I made these clones and added the Force. They're me and they're stronger." But was he using that guy? Was that guy helping him? Did he need that guy to make these clones? He already made the clones. I didn't.
Yeah, it just seemed like very weird that the guy already made the clones. It doesn't matter if he lives or dies. Why is that an important story point? It's not.
It was just to set up that girl as a spy, which is like we could, like you said, you could have done that a little bit more
very quickly in one little scene, and then you're done. And they could have put her in the rest of the story woven in, like Anthony said, like doing stuff, talking to Moff Gideon or whatever.
I liked seeing how like the New Republic is not all that it's cracked up to be, and it's a clusterfuck, and there's still problems, and that when he was talking to the Shadow Council, that part was interesting, where the guy's like, we have to still act like we're broken apart and we're all spread out and we're not organized, otherwise they're going to be on to us. And then it turns out they're hiding on Mandalore, which is why they told them it's poisoned. Like some of that shit was good, but it was just it just got in the way of other things at the same time.
So what would you rate this?
Okay, let's rate it and rank it. And moving forward, when are we going to see Mando again? Season 4, the movie, Dave Filoni's movie, we don't know. He says it's possibly going to tie up things. I would rate this. Let's rate it and rank it. I've already said I think it's out of the 3 seasons, it's probably the weakest. And the first 2 seasons had great finales. This one's probably third out of those. I give this like a 7 overall, 7.5. Because while it was uneven and there was too many plots, it did have fucking cute ass Grogu doing Grogu things and some good action. Which, like, the finale almost redeems the season. Almost. For me. What about you, Anthony?
So I don't remember all the seasons. So I have to rank them by just my memory of the finale. And I think it's the third best season just because of my memory of the finale. It's not bad. Yeah. I'd say 6.5 out of 10.
Okay. Ruggs?
I will agree with 6.5 as well. It is the weaker ones. I think I like 2, then 1, and then this, the last. It has 2 great episodes, and then the rest of the 4 episodes that we get are just like little bits and pieces. They could take those out, make another episode, and literally make this the 3-episode season. Everything else is superfluous to the plot of the driving force of this.
I mean, and you got to think it's all because they made him do the thing in Boba Fett, and like what I heard from Jeff Snyder is Favreau did not want to do that, and he was forced to, and it fucked up their whole thing. So they put that in this season. Would have been great. Okay, good stuff. Let's do some news from the nation. Find out what our listeners thought of the finale.
It's time for news from the nation.
It's time for news from the nation.
It stinks. It stinks. It stinks.
I just love that it makes Anthony giggle every time. You can't like this is fights are
life is like a box of chocolate.
Fights are always fun. You never know what you're going to get. Fights are always funny. Anyways, I posted the spoiler finale thread to our group a little bit late. Sorry. There's a lot going on. I was busy, but I got a couple of comments from our listeners. William Salgado just commented 2 words. And then that was it. His 2 words are 2 words. Someone asked him, like, what are your 2 words? And then he just commented, I put it in the sentence. So the 2 words is 2 words. Anyways, Ricky.
You get no words.
No words. Rick Martinez said Disney could have saved a lot of money and fans if they would have just made a 90-minute special instead of a full season. Yeah, it's exactly what you said, Ruggs.
I'd go a little up, about 2.5 hours, but yeah.
You had 2.5 hours of content. Benjamin Wesley Cranford says, shit, I better watch it. Lost interest in episode 2 since episode 2. So a lot of people watched it and fell off. And then Marcus Savina says, I don't know why everyone said this season sucked. It was really great. So he enjoyed it. So it's fine.
Good for you, Mark.
Yeah. Some people enjoyed it. Some people didn't enjoy it. But yeah, that's it. That's all I got. Let's finish up with some what are we watching? Anthony, you watched any more action movies this week?
I did. I went on a little bit of I'm on a research spree. If you've listened to the Patreon where we picked out the movies, quick plug for that and quick plug for the Patreon we're about to release. There's a bunch of movies on here that we picked that I haven't seen that are classics, so I need to do a lot of homework. I watched 3 movies that are potentially in the tourney.
Yeah,
I say potentially because we're going to talk about at least one of them later on. But the 3 I watched were in order: Upgrade, Ip Man, and Train to Busan.
Okay. You never saw Upgrade? Quick thoughts on Upgrade.
I haven't seen all 3 movies.
Okay,
I've ever
first
seen.
time watch.
Upgrade I thought was fantastic.
Isn't that fun?
Really good movie.
Yeah.
RoboCop meets $6 Million Man meets Death Wish type movie.
And Venom.
Like that could have been a good Venom movie.
But even though there's a lot of familiar stuff, the way they do the fight scenes and the way he's looking around and not really understanding what his body's doing, and then the ending is, just all over, just very good movie.
The camera work is great as it like moves sometimes with the character going up and down, and fucking Tom Hardy light is fantastic. Who's the fucking guy in this?
He's Tom Hardley.
He's hardly Tom Hardy. Logan something. What's the
Logan
guy?
Marshall Green, is that what his name?
Is that who it is? I'm like, this is Tom Hardy. I don't care what you say.
Logan Marshall Green. Yep.
It was Logan Marshall Green, but yeah, a surprisingly
really good movie,
entertaining movie. Okay, Ip Man. This one of the classics of martial arts cinema.
Yeah, Ip Man.
Donnie Yen.
Semi-biographical, but not really film about the guy that taught Wing Chun to Bruce Lee. It's good. It's good. It's got really good action scenes. I didn't like it as much as I watched them back to back. I didn't like it as much as Upgrade.
Thought
the fight scenes were really well done. But I didn't like it as much as Upgrade. I liked it though. Don't get me wrong. I liked it. I think Donnie Yen's really good in it. The fight scenes where the stuff where he's fighting is the best stuff. It almost felt
feels
like
a little safe, right?
Yeah. It also was just like it was almost like two different movies in one, because one is about him and Japan and them invading China, and then there's another part about him protecting the village from these Northerners. But it was all right. It was good. It deserves to be in the tournament. I'll put it that way. And then the last one was Train to Busan. Really good movie. I don't know if it's an action movie. We'll talk about that later. But it's a damn good zombie flick. It's a movie that should be I heard Chris Stuckman say this, and I completely agree. It's a movie that should be Snakes on a Plane. It's up in Korea. It's like way more.
It's zombies on a train.
Much better. It just has no right being as good as it is. It's almost like a damn near perfect movie.
It's a great Korean zombie train horror. There's a sequel called Peninsula that takes place 4 years later after the zombie outbreak. I heard it's not as good. I haven't seen that one, but I enjoyed Train to Busan. I was like, again, another surprisingly good movie. I was like, holy shit. This is really
very almost sad movie.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, you got really the dad trying to get to his daughter. That's always going to be good emotion.
Yeah, and there's just a lot of little twists in there that about the different people that are on the train and their motives and all that. And it's good. It's really good.
All right. That's good homework. I got to watch a lot of these too. Bruggs, what did you watch? You watched something that I watched, and we didn't know we both watched this week.
I watched, Ghosted.
I also watched Ghosted, Apple TV Plus, Chris Evans, Ana de Armas. It's being presented as a rom-com action movie. Directed by Dexter Fletcher, written by Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick, who wrote The Deadpools, and also Chris McKenna and Eric Summers, who they wrote on Spider-Man No Way Home, all the Spider-Man movies, and Ant-Man and the Wasp. Right? And so, yes, I was reading the reviews on Rotten Tomatoes. It's 28% right now. 61% audience score. What did you think of Ghosted? The premise is essentially Chris Evans plays this down-to-earth guy who meets Ana de Armas at a farmer's market, and they don't hit it off at first, but then he goes and has coffee with her. They spend the day together. It's essentially the trailer. You see all this in the trailer. They spend the night together. She fucks off somewhere. He's trying to reach her. She does not respond to all of his text messages, his family telling him she's ghosting you. And turns out she works in London, and he goes to find her. And again, it's not spoiler. It's all in the trailer. He finds out that she is a CIA agent, and craziness ensues. And in fact, the trailer, all that stuff in the trailer happens in like the first 30 minutes of this 2-hour movie, essentially. I have some thoughts, Ruggs. I want to know what you thought coming out of this.
It's one of the worst movies. Worst written movies I've ever fucking witnessed. They should be ashamed that they put this out. The only thing that makes it redeeming is that there is good screen chemistry, and
You thought
the
they had
actors
good-
are likable.
You thought Chris Evans and Ana de Armas chemistry was good.
Not sexual chemistry, but their like banter was good.
Okay, I'll agree with that because it was a little off for me too.
Yeah, their romantic chemistry didn't quite work.
When they're arguing, the chemistry is a lot better.
Yeah, they're more about good arguing, and that was fine. The action was fine.
Yeah, it was nothing new.
Boilerplate. It's not going to rock your world. The whole idea of the story is just very pedestrian and nothing great. It's just very high production value.
Yeah.
And
Produced by Chris Evans and Ana de Armas.
Right. It's okay. It's just like
she's great to watch. And
whatever.
her career is interesting. She's doing like she does Marilyn Monroe in Blonde, but then she does these action movies. Like we saw her in The Gray Man. She's doing the John Wick spin-off Ballerina. She gets to kick some ass here and shoot some weapons. And it's decent. It's not bad. Slight spoilers because while I thought like the chemistry was okay, it's watching her. I could watch her in anything. Obviously, she's super hot. This movie has these it's almost the tone is all over the place. Did it not feel at times it was tipping into like Austin Powers territory to you?
Yes.
Right? It got like really silly and ridiculous while trying to be like a badass action comedy.
It was just very poorly done.
It's PG-13 also, so
they just had money coming out the ass
Yes.
and like production value and actors that were like they showed up to do their scenes for the most part, but like it reminded me of that Red Notice.
Yeah.
It was just like, but this is shittier.
You think it's shittier than Red Notice? Oh my God. I mean,
I think it is.
Essentially, you have two like ridiculously good looking people on the screen at all times, but like their chemistry to me was a little shaky. Adrian
I mean, it helps. It helps. There's funny moments in it.
Yes.
Like there are funny moments in it, but just the way that just the whole entire premise of this movie is so it's a comedy. So I guess you can excuse it, but even though it's a comedy, it's still terrible. You're like, they couldn't have written it better than that. Like, whatever.
Adrian Brody plays the bad guy, and he's like so cheesy over the top. I thought,
like, why is Ana de Armas going to America at all?
I don't know. She lives there.
She has to debrief every once in a while. So why would she even have a home base there? She doesn't even live there.
I give it credit for some scenes taking place in Pakistan. That was nice. That like they were like the bus scene. There's an extended bus scene on the Khyber Pass, which is like a very thin road on the edge of a cliff, and you see like the Pakistani buses that are always decorated and the giant. That action scene was fine. The end action scene was a little crazy. It involves a rotating restaurant. If you've ever been on one of those, but the funniest, most ridiculous thing had to be these crazy, really quick cameos. Anthony is cameoing in this movie, and this is clearly like Chris Evans just got on the phone and was like, "Can you come do this movie for like 2 minutes? You'll be in and out." I'm going to spoil some of the cameos because they're ridiculous. As bounty hunters, you see Anthony Mackie pops up for a second playing a bounty hunter, and this is a sequence where there's a bounty hunter that pops up, another bounty hunter kills that bounty hunter, takes them, and then a minute later, another bounty hunter kills that bounty hunter and captures them. And it happens like 3 times.
Yeah.
So it's so ridiculous.
Very Austin Powers.
Very Austin Powers. It goes from Anthony Mackie, then you see John Cho from Harold and Kumar, then you see fucking Sebastian Stan in the movie for like a minute. And then the most ridiculous cameo in the last scene, in the big action scene on this revolving restaurant where something has happened and the gears have broken and it's spinning really fast, which is hilarious. There's just this quick scene where she's in the corner and out pops fucking Ryan Reynolds for no reason. Just like, "Oh, hi, nice to see you." I don't even know what he said. I was like, "It's fucking Ryan Reynolds." And then he like disappears. But it was just so silly.
It's like her ex-boyfriend or something.
Yeah, it was. Oh, it was her ex-boyfriend, and they were at some. It was so silly and ridiculous, and the action is just okay. Tim Blake Nelson also in this, so yeah. Look, it's good if you got like 2 hours to waste, something to throw on. You're gonna forget about it.
Yeah,
right
it's
away.
It's got humor. It's got some action. Neither of them are notable, but it is in there. It's got Ana de Armas shooting guns and
doing some
throwing guys all over the place. Yeah.
So I don't know. What would you give it out of 10?
I don't know. I think like a 5.5.
Yeah, I'd give it like a 6. I thought I was a little bit disappointed. It's fine. It's just a very cliche, at times cringy.
Yeah, it's nothing to write home about.
Yeah. Anything else?
It could be worse.
It could be worse.
I watched The Expendables 2.
Which is funny because that's not. I don't think that's going to be in our tournament. So
I don't know. I just saw it and I was like, I'll be watching.
Just okay.
So I thought maybe there's a chance it'll be in the tournament, so I'll watch it and whatever. I'll get a leg up on it. But yeah, watch that, and I'm watching in the middle of watching The Bourne
Ultimatum.
Ultimatum. Yeah, that's right.
Ultimatum. Okay. All right.
Well, there we go.
There it is. Make sure to sign up for our Patreon listener. We have an important update and a final locking in of the 21st Century Action Movie Tournament movies. You don't want to miss that. That's it for this week. Ruggs, where can the listener find you online?
You can find me still on Twitter at ReallyRugBoy.
This whole blue checkmark thing is hilarious. Now, like it's bad to have a checkmark now that he's removed them and you have to pay for them.
You want to know something? Like Elon's so smart. Why did he do this? Like, okay. So what you do is everybody who has a blue checkmark, they should keep their blue checkmark.
Sure,
but you should be able to upgrade to this new version of Twitter where you can change things, have longer videos, edit, and then make that like Twitter, gold.
Twitter Plus, Twitter Max.
Yeah, and then if you want, part of the thing is since you're paying for it, you can verify yourself through your credit card.
Yeah, that's not bad.
And you can get that verification. So both of those things could exist. I don't know why he decided to piss people off because taking away something that you got already is going to piss people off. So
see, he should have asked you first. That's all.
And Elon, I'm here.
Elon, you can find Rugboy's Twitter in our episode description. There's the link there at Really Rugboy on Twitter. Hit him up. Right. He'll help you out. Most important thing you could do, listener, share the show, get it out there. Thank you for listening to the Jock and Nerd podcast. My name is Imran.
My name's Anthony.
He's the Jock.
He's the nerd.
We'll peep you next time.
Floppy Jock. I really don't give a shit. Not funny.
Fuck's sake, man, you're amateur.
It's distracting.